This is a 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Although it looks really nice, it's actually got some pretty major problems in the front end. When you drive it, it sounds like there's a little dwarf underneath the front with a metal bar sticking it in your rim and clunking on things. What that is are 6 large ball bearings in a cage in the CV joint. One of them isn't so round anymore, and eventually it's going to be a broken axle. Okay, see this? This is a jack. Not that crusty, sorry thing which may or may not be in the trunk of your car next to a donut spare somewhere. That thing will get you killed. This will hold up a good-sized vehicle, and it will not rattle if cars go by or there's wind or a dog sneezes. You do not want to be under a car with that little rickety jacked up thing. In fact, if my car breaks down on the side of the road and I don't have a decent jack, I call AAA. These are jack stands. You will want these. Do not use cinder blocks. Do not use anything else that can be crushed with a sledgehammer. Otherwise, they'll have a very nice funeral for you. They're not that expensive. Seriously, get the jacks. These are safety glasses. They're not very attractive. Then again, neither am I. But trust me, as you're messing around, beating on things and wrenching on things, there's going to be pieces of rust and dirt and grease and, God knows what else. You don't want it in your eyes. Get some of these. Under your vehicle, there are probably several places that you could put a jack, but there's very few you actually want to. Now, it's kind of dark under here, but this happens to be a very wide, thick frame. It's made of boxed 1/8-inch steel. That's a good place to put a jack. Out here, where they've creased pieces of fender together, not a good place to put a jack. This is just going to cave up into your wall, bend your door, and generally ruin your day. When you jack up your vehicle, it's going to move, and you really don't want it to move. I have a block behind the wheel. Now, they sell various wheel blocks that you can buy. They're plastic, there's ramps, there's all sorts of things. A brick works just fine. You just want to make sure that when the wheel moves back, it catches the tire, and the tire isn't going to roll over it unless the engine's running and you put it in gear. Okay, when it comes to taking off lug nuts, you've got some options. My favorite is the impact wrench, because it's easy, but it's also the most expensive. Well, you can get one of these for less than $50 and it'll do a good job. The next bet is a breaker bar. It's just a long piece of steel, gives you a lot of leverage, and a deep socket. That's what I'll use if I don't feel like getting out the compressor. The other thing you can use is that rusty short hunk of metal that you'll find in your trunk next to the jack. I don't recommend using that any more than the jack because it's really short, you don't have much leverage, and it's cast forged steel. It doesn't fit real well. You'll round off your nuts and end up punching cement with your knuckles, which I've done several times. I don't recommend it. Okay, I'm going to start with a breaker bar because I don't really want to take the lug nuts all the way off yet. Notice there's no jack. It's real hard to get these loose when the wheel can spin freely. Now, I've had these off recently because I redid the brakes, so they're not rusted to the rim or anything like that. Now, I'm not taking these all the way off. I'm just breaking the tight seal they have and giving them about a half turn. Once I jack the vehicle up, I will take them off the rest of the way. I just don't want to have to reef on it while it's on jack stands. Alright, if you notice, this isn't jacked up to the sky. It's just far enough off the ground that I can get the wheel off. If you want to jack it up to the sky, be my guest, but there's plenty of room in there, and that's just that much farther the thing can fall if something goes wrong. That said, I'm using 2 jack stands, not just one. So the jack has to fail, and both jack stands have to fail before this is coming down. If the stars align and that happens, there's a good chance it'll make enough noise and take long enough for me to pull my hand out of the hole. Okay, this is where I get to be lazy and use fun power tools. Out the back. Pick that up once I take the tire off. And you're free. By the way, if you have one of these, there is an oil port. Make sure you oil it, especially if you live in a climate like Michigan where it gets really humid. Otherwise it's going to seize up and, well, you'll have another thing you can put behind your wheel to keep your vehicle from rolling. That's a really handy little magnetic pan that I picked up at a parts store. So when you're working, you've got things like a bunch of lug nuts laying on the ground that you can kick with your knees and they can end up rolling down into, well, you'll never find them. Put them there. But do yourself a favor, if you've got a nice watch or an iPhone, don't put it there. Okay, this is the disc rotor. As you can see, it doesn't look too bad. There's some rust here, but this was replaced recently, so it's still pretty new. These brake pads were also replaced. They're pretty new. We have to take this brake caliper off and take this rotor off in order to get to the hub. And the hub looks, well, pretty rusted and nasty. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, this may be kind of hard to see, but in the back here there are two 18mm bolts that hold this caliper on. There are two smaller bolts that hold just the part that holds the pads, but because we need to take the whole thing off to get the rotor, we're not going to take those off. We're just going to take it all off in one piece, and then we'll tie it up here with a zip tie so it's not dangling from its brake cable. In the back here, see that wrench is on the 18mm bolt up there, and down here there's another one. Those look nice and shiny and new, and that's because I replaced them when I replaced the brakes. Now we're getting into the part of things where stuff is going to start to get really dirty. It's also going to start to get pinchy, cutty. It's a good chance for blood and bruises and things like that. Wear some kind of glove. Almost loose. Unfortunately, I can't fit a ratchet in here, so I'm stuck doing this. And this is my son Max. He's having a juice box and playing on his iPad. Notice how happy and healthy and not bloody he is, because he's not anywhere under there, back there, behind the car where I can't see him. He's over here happy and alive. Okay. So I took the brake caliper and I tied it up here with a zip tie, so that it doesn't hang from the brake line. Because if it hangs from the brake line, it can break the brake line and all your fluid goes everywhere. So that keeps it up and out of the way. And now that it's off, the disc brake drum comes off.
Let's look on the other side. That's pretty.
This is pretty new. This is going to go back on the way it is. And this is one of the brake pads. When you're driving down the road and your wheel is turning and you push on the brakes, this gets pushed against this, and that's what stops the car. Works the same way on your bicycle, but smaller.
I have to kill 30 million times.
That's a lot.
I mean, I'm just meaning 30. Not even haven't even beat him one time. This is probably gonna take months to finish.
This is a big tear in the boot. That's not good. All the grease that's in there has gone flying out all over the place. Water and salt have gotten in there. And the ball bearings in there now look less round and more like something like a really sad star. Okay, right here is the end of a 13mm bolt that holds this hub on. There are 3 of them. As you can see, everything's kind of become one. So I'm going to spray some anti-seize on there, some penetrating oil, and then beat the crap out of this and eventually get that loose. That'll be fun.
Can I do that with you?
Not this part. If you get this stuff in your eyes, it's really not good for your eyes. I've got safety glasses on. Fun, fun, fun.
You're beating the heck out of that thing.
Yeah, it's going to take quite a bit. Okay, I sprayed everything on this and let it sit for about 2 hours. As you can see, it's a little darker out now than it was earlier. And I still had a hard time with those bolts in the back. So what you can do in situations like that is take a metal pipe. This just happens to be a piece of fence post. Put it on there and apply pressure until it lets go. And these eventually made a loud pop and let go. So I can now that they're broken free, I can take them off. Alright. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I got 2 of them off, and on the third one, the wrench actually broke. And for a Craftsman, that's really unusual. Now because it's a Craftsman, I can take it into Sears and they'll just give me a new one. But sun's going down. I gotta deal with this. Okay, I got lucky. Forging through my tools in my garage, I found that I happen to have a second 13mm, and I was able to get that to move. So, 1 wrench casualty. Incidentally, these are what these bolts look like. They do have a 12-star head, so you can't put a 6-star ratchet on them or a 6-star impact wrench, which would have been nice because I have those. So with the help of a breaker bar and one broken tool. All three of these are now, well, two are out and one's loose. Now, when you take these out, don't be surprised if the hub does not fall off. It's not going anywhere. That thing is so rusted on there, I'm going to have to beat that with an impact chisel, sledgehammer, all kinds of things. I'm probably going to beat on it more than I actually would if I wanted to keep this. Now, if you were just replacing the axle and this was good, you would not want to beat on this because there's bearings in there, and as you beat on it, you're beating up the bearings. Truth be told, driving down the road, though, does the same thing, and this has 185,000 miles on it. As you can see, it doesn't look too good. So I'm not putting it back on. I'm going to replace it. Knowing that frees me up to just beat the bejesus out of it. Okay, finally, all three of those are off. And if you thought I looked dorky before, you're proof. Now that is because I have this guy. He's going to make short work of that very rusted on thing, but he's also very noisy. Do your ears a favor. Cover them up. You'll want them later. Voila! Okay, something you would normally care about, but I don't. This bolt is a 36 or 35 millimeter. It's hard to tell because it is so built up with crud. Normally, you'd want to take that bolt off and take the hub off if you wanted to save the hub. I don't want to save the hub. The hub is in horrible shape and I plan on replacing it along with the axle, so I'm not going to go through the pain of removing that nut. I'm just going to pull the whole thing out as one piece. Yeah, that is an unhappy CV joint. In case you're wondering, CV means constant velocity, because it can do this. Okay, so at this point I'm essentially done taking the driver's side apart. As you can see inside here, this is all where the hub mated, and it is all rusty. I'm going to take sandpaper and clean that up, and then I'm going to slather it with anti-seize so that the next hub will come out of there easier should I ever have to take it out. Given the fact that this Jeep has 185,000 miles on it, I probably won't ever take that hub out again. I'm also going to be replacing the upper and lower ball joints. Now, I bought this a year ago, and the owner at the time swore to me these had been replaced when I mentioned a vibration in the front end. He's like, oh no, I just replaced those. I'm going to go ahead and cry bullshit on that. Fortunately, these are about $10. Do yourself a favor. If you're going to pull all this stuff apart, replace the ball joints. They're $10. Now the problem is, you're not going to get these out with normal tools. You're going to actually need a ball joint press. Now I've ordered one from Harbor Freight. It's about $69. It has all the different size cups I'm going to need. It's not here yet, so I'm not going to do that part of the job just yet. Which is good because I have a whole other side of this to deal with. Sweet.